Well, like, it's scenes like this that make me wish that I still use Telegram. Like, obviously I had a wee channel where I used to like post all my photos and stuff. I was out on hikes. That said, my camera's still fucked. So, much difference anyway, I guess. I don't know. Just thought I would show off this loch. It's been a long time since I've been here. But what inspired me to come here today was I unprivated quite a few of my videos yesterday or the day before. My like rambling Highlander videos. And the only reason that I think at the time I privated them to begin with was just because I was obviously having that fucking embarrassing meltdown last year. So I like privated a lot of videos which included my commentary, but as time's gone on, just sort of unprivated quite a few in there, don't really give a shit. But yeah, don't know what's going on with me as of late though. On a wee side note before I get into what I want to speak about, it's like the equivalent of feeling burnt out. Yeah, just feel fucking shite, and that's without a drink or anything like that. I just don't feel great at all. So much so that just briefly, like, obviously because I work in construction, I have to deal with like agencies all the time, and had 2 separate jobs last week. I walked off both of them. And then I've had like the agencies phoning me up and all that, and I've just ignored them. I had a few other people phone me as well, like, but I've ignored them as well. Just, don't know, don't feel great. Anyhow, yeah, this is Loch Ruthven, and it's pretty close to Loch Duntelcheg and all that as well. Like if you look at like the area of Loch Ness, like via a drone, something high enough anyway to be able to see like a good portion of the area. They are actually all somewhat in close proximity to one another, but you'd never think it if you were just walking about. But it's a bonny wee place. This bit's a bit cunty, right enough, I'll be honest. You have to go a bit off-road to get to the actual loch itself. So this is going to be a bit difficult. I'll hold my camera. But hey-ho. Not averse to going off-road when I need to. I remember coming here last year. Been here quite a few times with my dog and that, like, but came here last year and there's a wee section down here where I fell my arse. Fucking butchered my tailbone. But worth it, like, because it is bonny. There's another fence coming up here. But yeah, so there's a few things kind of want to talk about, and that's all pertaining to a word that in fact one of my rambling Highlander videos that I unprivated, I'm pretty sure I spoke about it back then as well. It's not the first time I've spoken about it. It's democracy. That fucking word. I really don't like it. You know, and back in the day, like, I tended to like attempt to keep my sort of views on the matter of democracy to myself, because like quite often if it was like on streams or something, I'd have people like, oh, well, what's your solution there, man? Like, I'm not saying I've got one. I'm just saying I just don't really believe in the concept of democracy. And what you start to see recently is a lot of people, especially when it comes to like Nigel Farage and reform, like people feel betrayed. There's outrage, you know? But it's like, he's got form of this, obviously. People know this, I know this, anybody listening to this probably knows this. It's the first time the guy's fucking done what he's done, you know? Look what he did to UKIP back in the day, etc. But this is my point, it's like, any legitimate political organisation or movement never going to make any headway. That's why you get people like Nigel fucking Farage, you know? Like, he's like the controlled opposition, as the meme goes, or the cliche goes. But yeah, it's so something like you're starting to see some people now. You know, it's like the Overton window sort of shifting ever so slightly, because some people are now starting to call into question the concept of democracy. You know, but like it never seems to really change much, though. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, some other dickhead could just come along and then they'll fall for it again, you know? This is the bit I was talking about, by the way. Pretty sure it was here I filmed my arse. Jesus. What have you, though, eh? Oh, Jesus. That was close. Fucking hell. It's difficult with one hand, eh? But I think that's it from memory. But yeah, it's like so many people like voted for Labour and all that last election, you know. And it didn't take very long for Labour to just do the exact same thing that every other politician has ever done and every other party has ever done when they get in, because they don't really do anything that they promise. They get in on false pretences, which, you know, in theory should be illegal, but they make it up as they go fucking along, don't they? But yeah, it's like, so people are starting to call into question reform, and it's like they're talking about, oh, we need to get behind somebody that's going to drag us out of all these this mess, etc. I'm like, it's so naive, you know. And it's like, now, after all these years, a lot of people are now starting to say what I was saying. And I wasn't the only one before somebody even assumes that, like, I'm acting some sort of fucking big brain. No. There's plenty of people saying what I was saying back in the day. But now you're starting to see a lot of people who weren't saying what I or we were saying back in the day. They're now starting to say it. So I suppose you can take some sort of comfort from that, if nothing else. The more people that become disillusioned with the idea of fucking democracy, the better. Because, I mean, quite frankly, I feel, and I have felt for so long, for years, that it's just a distraction. In all honesty, because at the end of the day, you put all of your fucking support, your time, your effort into somebody, and then if they don't win at the polls, it's just, well, maybe better luck next time, you know, etc. Fuck that, man. And then, of course, obviously, when it comes to reform, or when it came to reform, you start to see them poo-poo on, like, ethnic nationalism and all that. It's like, fucking hell. But yeah, democracy. I have to be careful where I walk here, because I do have a sort of buggered camera. So the sunlight, which once upon a time I would have loved to have got some photos of, considering it's starting to set, but it just, as you can see there, makes it look awful. But the other thing that in the concept of democracy, or the conversation democracy I should say, was Nicola Thin Lips. So she announced she was standing down, and yeah, there's a few things that fucked me off with that, like with like the crap that she was coming out with, and obviously her supporters, the ones that she's still got and whatnot, all coming out to defend her, and something that she continuously repeated during her interview with Colin Mackay a few days ago. With democracy, 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 etc. Fucking democracy. Away you go, talking about democracy. But the other thing, just on a side note before I forget, like, you know, like the things she's proud of, and it's like, what? A baby box? I mean, even the baby box shit, I mean, that's the best you can come up with, is a fucking baby box. And half of the baby box was back in the day, I think it was Norway or something, first introduced this scheme of a baby box, but it was used as a means to sort of encourage women to go to like antenatal classes or something. And somebody from the Scottish government went over there to observe this, then came back and decided to just create the idea, kind of copy them, but make it their own version, if you will. Kind of just like, somebody has a child, yeah, we'll just, we'll give them a baby box with a couple of fucking free items. Oh, great. However would they have coped without that? And if that's the best that you've got to brag about, then I really don't know what to tell you. And then it comes to, you know, independence, etc. You know, the democracy. It's all about democracy. For years and years and years and years, all we ever heard from Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP back then was about independence. And I said for years and years and years that it was simply a means to win elections. And time and time and time again, my tiny little YouTube channel was vindicated. You know, there was never any democracy there. Bear in mind as well that in 2014 we would have been out of the European Union. But yet you fast forward to 2016 and the SNP, in particular Nicola Thinlips, were started to revise their history and told everybody that in order to see a second independence referendum, they had to vote to remain in the European Union. A vote to leave the European Union meant that you wouldn't see a second independence referendum. So then people voted accordingly. And what did she fucking do? Oh, everybody wants to stay in the EU. You know, like, just constantly taking the piss out of Scottish voters. Just constantly. It doesn't say much for people though, because they never really twig, do they? What was some of the other things she was proud of though? You know, she said that, oh, the alcohol, the minimum unit pricing. This one's a fucking doozy, yeah. So, I can't remember how many years ago it was now, but obviously in Scotland, the Scottish government put up the prices for alcohol, right? And obviously the precursor to this was alcohol deaths. They wanted to try and reduce the harm caused by alcohol. And in the subsequent years, Scottish alcohol deaths continued to sort of rise anyway. I mean, I don't think it was like a rise annually. I think there was a few years where it went down a little bit and whatnot. But regardless, then it was announced at the beginning of last year that they were going to be putting it up again, right? And they said that if it wasn't for us putting up the unit pricing to begin with, there would have been a lot more deaths in Scotland. We've been saving lives, yes. Right? And I can't remember the timeline, but I think it might have been about January or something they said this. And then in fucking like February or March, it then came out that like Scottish alcohol deaths were like another record high. You know, this combined with the fact, as I say, they'd already put up the prices a couple of years prior, and they went against their own recommendations when it came to further increasing the price, because they were advised to put it up by like another 50p or 50%, right? They put it up to 65%, you know, because they're saving lives apparently. And Nicola Thinlips is proud of this. She's proud of what? Exactly. I don't get it. You know, and the thing is, when it comes to like the government, like you can't blame the government for people dying in this country due to alcohol or drugs and whatnot. However, if they want to sit there and pretend that they're going to solve the issues, they have indirectly put themselves into that position where they can be blamed to a certain extent, or at the very bare minimum attacked or critiqued when it comes to what could be argued as a lack of action, or anything that's actually worthwhile. You know? So, that was